guys, it's Teenage Marvel Fan back with another video, and in this video I will be doing another episode review for Marvel's Spider-Man, and this episode was titled Superior because it is the conclusion to the Superior Spider-Man saga, or whatever, this series of episodes, and conclusion to the story that was occurring. So this was a pretty good episode. I mean, not great, but it was a nice ending and definitely had a nice little bow on everything. Tied up all the loose ends, or at least most of them. So yeah, the episode starts off with Miles and Peter, and of course his consciousness is still trapped inside of Dr. Octopus's tentacle arm thingies. So that's not good. So they're trying to figure out a way how to, fix that. But then, meanwhile, we see Venom is inside this containment cell, and then he peels off Eddie Brock. And first off, I mean, why is Eddie Brock in there? Like, I get that Venom was attached to Eddie Brock when Venom was defeated, but I mean, when you defeat him, wouldn't you separate Eddie Brock from Venom and just have the symbiote in the containment cell? Like, they're basically holding Eddie hostage, basically. So yeah, I kind of didn't get that. Like, he could be out there living his life, but no, instead he's asleep in there, being held hostage in a containment cell because he was connected to Venom. But then Venom, like, peels off of him, and he says that he smells the spider, and he wants to kill the spider. So then he starts banging his head on the glass, or whatever kind of material they used to build the containment cell, and then he ends up breaking out. Now, what I don't get is why is Venom in a containment cell that he can easily break out of? Like, something like Venom, wouldn't you want to put him in a more stable cell? And then also, on top of that, like, if Venom can break out of there by just banging his head on the window, why didn't he do it sooner? Like, why is he just doing it now? So yeah, that was those are kind of plot holes, maybe, a little bit, I don't know. But yeah, so Venom escapes, and he goes to Horizon High, because, of course, that's where, last time Venom checked, that's where Peter Parker went to school. So then he goes there, he ends up fighting Miles, but then he knocks out Miles, so Miles is hurt. So then, Venom, during the fight with Venom and Miles, we find out that, that Eddie Brock isn't part of Venom anymore. Somehow, Venom is able to continue on as Venom without having a host, because apparently scientists at Horizon have been doing experiments on him and like testing him. So apparently now he can be Venom without having a host. So honestly, that's pretty cool, but he did look weird throughout most of the episode because without a host, he's not like human shaped. So he was pretty much like just a blob, and it looked weird. He had like 4 arms, and it was just really weird. But then of course, he's like, "Where's Spider-Man?" But then he absorbs Max Modell, and then he like takes in all of his memories, and then he finds out that Peter quit from Horizon High and is now going to Midtown High. So that's where Venom's going next. But then, meanwhile, Peter, which is Otto Octavius, is like just arriving at Midtown High, and he sees Anna Maria, who I actually haven't mentioned in my previous episode reviews for this, because I didn't think she'd be an important character. But she's someone, she's shorter, so she's gotten bullied for most of her life because of her size. But she's ended up really bonding with Otto, even though she thinks it's Peter. And so, yeah, they have a close relationship. And apparently that was important to the story. So I just needed to mention that there. So, yeah, Peter sees her. Actually, no, I'm just gonna call him Otto. So Otto sees her, and they're all working on cleaning up Midtown High because of when Spider-Man was there fighting Tiberius Stone with Cloak and Dagger, because there was a lot of wreckage from that, so they had to clean up all the wreckage. So then they went into the auditorium and they were cleaning that up. But then Otto gets a call from Peter, who can apparently call, even though he's just his consciousness inside of tentacles, but whatever. So he calls Otto, and he informs him that Venom is coming, and that it's a super serious threat. But, of course, Otto doesn't take it seriously, and he's like, I am the superior Spider-Man. I can easily defeat that pile of goop. So then he goes out to fight Venom. Like, once Venom arrives, he starts fighting him. But then Otto basically gets beaten up. And actually, one more thing I'd like to mention. Gotta backtrack a bit here. So before Venom showed up, Otto saw Flash Thompson, and they were talking about Spider-Man. And if you know anything about Flash Thompson, then you would know that he's like a super mega fan of Spider-Man, and he's like his hero, and he looks up to him and all that stuff. But apparently now, Flash doesn't like Spider-Man because of how he's changed and how more violent he is, and because he's not a nice guy, and that's pretty much what he says. And that's because Otto is different than Peter. So since Otto is Spider-Man, he's a different Spider-Man than Peter was. And Flash isn't liking Otto as Spider-Man. He liked Peter as Spider-Man, even though he doesn't know their secret identities. But yeah, back to the fight with Venom. So Venom, he knocks out Otto, or like at least defeats him, kind of. But then he grabs Anna Maria and Flash, and he's about to kill them. So then he grabs Otto as well. So Otto can't do anything. They're all stuck. And then, let's see. So, yeah, Venom says that he's going to destroy his friends if Spider-Man doesn't bond with him again. But then Peter, his consciousness inside of the tentacles, jumps in and does something to electrocute Venom. So it stuns him for a bit, enough so that Otto is able to break free. But then Peter is flung back behind a curtain, and then Otto jumps back over behind the curtain to talk to Peter, and he basically explains that he's not going back out there to fight Venom, and because he says that Peter's going to. So then they switch bodies, and like while they switch bodies, Otto explains that he's had a change of heart, and he realizes that he can't be a better Spider-Man than Peter can. Peter is the superior Spider-Man, not Otto. And he realizes that he can't just let those innocent people die because he couldn't do what Peter could. So they switch bodies, and then Peter goes out there and he fights Venom, and he ends up defeating Venom, so that's cool. And Venom basically, like, he just goes splat, because they electrocute him, so he goes splat against the wall. You'd think that he would still be alive after that, but I don't know, this is just a cartoon, so maybe they're not getting that logical. But the next season is called Maximum Venom, so we know that Venom's coming back. But yeah, so then after this, um, Anna Maria, it's explained to her that Otto was Peter Parker and that he's now inside of the tentacles, but the tentacles, the battery is dying or something like that, so it's about to go dead, and he basically, for the first time, Otto, like, reveals his feelings, and basically, like, earlier in the episode, he made it super scientific, like, he, I don't know how to explain it, but he really complicated saying that he was glad she was okay. He was basically saying, um, it is nice to see that you were not affected badly in this whole commotion or something. I know that's like nothing close to what he said, but it's similar. So that's kind of like what he said in the beginning of the episode, but now he's finally saying, I am glad that you didn't get hurt and I care about you. And then he says, goodbye, Anna Maria, goodbye, Spider-Man, and then the battery dies. And they're like, oh no, he's dead, we can't save him. And then Peter's like, the only way we could save him is if we had a body to put his mind back into. And then that is when he realizes that Otto still has a body. And I've been wondering this whole time, like, where is Otto's body? So yeah, apparently Otto has been in a coma this whole time, and now I'm starting to remember that, but that was like over a year ago when that happened, so I don't really remember that until now when I was reminded of it. So yeah, so then they go back to the hospital where Otto's body is, and they end up putting Otto's mind back into the body, and then he's still in a coma, but they can tell that his mind is back in his body. And Anna Maria decides to stay by his side because she's found a new friend. And she thinks that Otto is the true hero behind all of this. So basically, he's not a villain anymore. Which, I'm kind of disappointed by, because Dr. Octopus is, like, one of Spider-Man's, like, top villains, like one of the most evil, most powerful villains. It's like him, Green Goblin, and Venom. So we got Venom. Green Goblin hasn't been on the show yet, but then Dr. Octopus is just a good guy now, so I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, like, it would be kind of cool to see him go out and fight crime alongside Spider-Man, but if he does that, I definitely want him to get a new suit, because his suit as Dr. Octopus was so bad, it looks so weird, and looks nothing like Dr. Octopus. So yeah, I would want them to fix that. And then the episode basically ends with Miles waking up in the hospital, and he's finding out that Peter and Otto switch bodies back. So, happy ending until next episode, because that is when the Cellar Saga begins, where we start to learn about the Cellar. And it actually looks pretty cool. There is a teaser trailer that was put out for it. So, like, if you go on Google, you search Marvel's Spider-Man Cellar teaser, or if you just go on YouTube and you search that, it looks like it's going to be a good one. I mean, there's a couple new villains. We're getting introduced to Molten Man and Mr. Negative. And then they're teaming up with Electro, the Spot, Sandgirl, and Cloak. So yeah, I don't really know too much else about it, but so this whole Superior Spider-Man thing, I think it was pretty good overall. And I'm excited to see what's to come for this series. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next video so I can bestow all Marvel knowledge upon you.